All right, guys, it's Brutus J from the Brutus J podcast. It's Sunday, November the 23rd, 4 days away from Turkey Day. I know y'all are ready to get down and dirty with some turkey dressing and the whole nine. But hey, before we get into all that, it's been a heck of a weekend. So hey, let's talk about it. All right, guys, as I said, Brutus J from the Brutus J podcast. Are y'all ready to eat? Are y'all ready to eat? I know I'm ready to get down with some greens, turkey, macaroni and cheese, the whole nine. But man, we got a lot to discuss. Heck of a weekend in college football and the NFL and college. Look like everybody took care of business. Maybe except for maybe one team. We're going to talk about that in the NFL. Ooh. Man, I watched a few good ones today. A lot of OT games, a lot of upsets. We're going to get into some NBA, some men's college basketball, women's college basketball. Y'all already know we're going to talk about it all, but we're going to get started with college football, man. The top 25, man. The ACC is just a mess. It is a mess, but we're going to get into it all, and we're going to start off at the top. You already know the Ohio State Buckeyes home against Rutgers, where they took care of business 42-6. And I got to tell you, they didn't have both starting wide receivers was out. So, hey, all they did was run, and they ran all over Rutgers. But like I said, by a score of 42-9. Ohio State just keeps on rolling, and it looks like they will end up being in that Big Ten championship game as long as they take care of business next week when they travel to Ann Arbor to face the Michigan Wolverines, where Bryce Underwood and company will be waiting. So, hey, next week rivalry weekend is going to be huge for Michigan and several other teams. Samford on the road against Texas A&M. Of course, Texas A&M took care of business by the score of 48-0. A lot of people bashing the SEC this week, because everybody know a week before rivalry week, every year the SEC, they always play lower divisional opponents, and it was a lot of trash games out there. But hey, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, because at the end of the day, the SEC beat up on each other all year, so I can't blame them. I don't have a problem with it, but I also don't have a problem with going to a 9-game conference schedule as well. So anyway, Charlotte was on the road against Georgia, number 4 Georgia, and of course Georgia took care of business 35-3. Big game of the night was USC on the road in Oregon, and Oregon took care of business by the score of 42-27. Now, like I was saying about, people pretty much trashing the SEC for the games, Dan Lanning, head coach of Oregon, made a statement at the end of the USC game, which they won, by the way, 42-27. He made a statement and he mentioned, we play opponents every single week, not quote unquote Chattanooga State, which is basically a shot at the SEC. Because as I said, the SEC week before rivalry week, every week they always play lower divisional teams or whatever. But Dan Lanning just letting everybody out there know what we already knew. Missouri was on the road against Oklahoma, and Oklahoma took care of business 17-6. This is like the third or fourth game this year where Oklahoma defeats an opponent and they're outgained by double digits in yards. But that defense is just stout. It is stout, and they continue to show, that they are elite. Oklahoma, just like Georgia, they can beat you anyway. Low scoring, high scoring. But that defense is just elite. All right. Notre Dame was on the road against Syracuse. Notre Dame was at home against Syracuse. Now, if this game right here didn't show you that not only is Jeremiah Love, we've been knowing it before this game, but this was an exclamation point. Jeremiah Love and the Notre Dame Irish won this game by the score of 70-7. Folks, the first 21 points, the Notre Dame Irish offense didn't even touch the ball. They were all off turnovers. All off turnovers. All right, as far as stats, I wanted to get into this, especially, Jeremiah Love. Listen to this. Jeremiah Love, 8 carries, 171 yards, 3 touchdowns. 68 the longest. The only thing is, you got to feel sorry for Syracuse. They got a lot of injuries. They got a walk-on lacrosse player as their quarterback. Doesn't make it any better. Shout out that young man. People, I know my son and one of them was kind of talking a little mess about that. But hey, you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. But I'm pretty sure Fran Brown will have those Orangemen steering towards the right way next year, because they have some upsets this year, including at Clemson. They won. All right, next game on the docket. Eastern Illinois at Alabama. And, of course, just like Georgia, just like the others, Alabama took care of business 56-0. The thing I want to look forward to in this game, though, was seeing how Alabama run game was going to do. Because, I mean, all year, Alabama's running game has not been on point at all. And I get it. They play Eastern Illinois, but you still want to see some positive signs in this game. 11 carries, 62 yards, Jam Miller. They had a total of 269 rush yards. I'm going to tell you something. Next week, they play Auburn. They better bring their A game. And we're going to talk about Auburn a little bit later because, you know, I get it. They didn't really play nobody. They played Mercer. You know, Deuce Knight, the freshman phenom they have at quarterback. He is a nightmare. Can be a nightmare. Alabama can't fool nobody because, you know, playing against a running quarterback, just like my LSU Tigers, they struggle. BYU defeated Cincinnati by the score of 26-14. The Cougars looks like they're going to be in that Big 12 championship game. All they need is a win next week. It's probably going to be them against Texas Tech again. Kansas State on the road against Utah. And folks, this score was 51-47. Nobody expected this game to be like this. And not only that, Utah gave up almost 500 yards rushing. They did give up 500 yards rushing. Now, Kansas State do have a decent running attack, but, you know, Utah is known to be a very physical team, and it was just shocking to see this. This could hurt them in the rankings, but we will see. But as I said, the final score was 51-47, Utah over Kansas State. Miami at Virginia Tech took care of some business. A lot of people figured Virginia Tech, including myself, a lot of people figured Virginia Tech probably was going to have it a little closer because I'm pretty sure James Franklin was somewhere watching. But the Canes were able to take care of business and increase their chances of not only going to the ACC championship game, but potentially being an at-large bid in the college football playoffs. Kentucky on the road against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt all over Kentucky 45-17. And I'm going to tell you something. Diego Pavia, in my opinion, this is my opinion. I love Jeremiah Love. Of course, he's going to New York. But in my opinion right now, Diego Pavia is the Heisman Trophy winner. People ain't gonna like it. A lot of people ain't gonna like it because they don't like the swag he got. He's a very arrogant, very cocky guy. But I mean, when you think of every football team right now in college, this guy is the most. I get it. Quarterback is important to every team, but Diego, what he's doing, if Vanderbilt didn't have him, man, they would be a totally different team. Trust. I mean, this guy literally carries them. Listen to these stats. 33 for 39, 484 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 1 interception that was fluke towards the end of the game. Not even done yet. 15 carries, 48 yards, and 1 touchdown. So he accounted for 6 touchdowns. I mean, and this been going on, and he did it against Texas. He did it against LSU defense. Next week they play Tennessee. Tennessee defense ain't nowhere near like the ones I just named. So he probably going to do it against them too. So, yeah, Diego Pavia will be going to New York. You can bank that. All right, Pitt at Georgia Tech. Now, this right here was a shocker. This was a team I was saying that didn't take care of business. I was at a restaurant. Me and my son was watching this game. And, you know, when I'm coming in the restaurant and he looking on his phone, he said, "Dad, you ain't going to believe this. Georgia Tech is losing 28-7. I said, "What? To Pitt? Pitt is good. 28-7. It was 28-7, I think, in like the second quarter. Excuse me. But immediately he was like, "They're gonna come back, Dad. They're gonna come back." And it looked like Tech was gonna come back up until a little late in the fourth quarter when the running back pretty much called out on them, and he was gone, and pretty much ended Georgia Tech's ability to come back. But the final score ended up being Pitt 42, Georgia Tech 28. That was a bad loss for Georgia Tech. Good team to lose by, but it was a bad loss for Georgia Tech. I mean, they've lost the last 2 out of 3. Everybody knows they got destroyed by NC State, and then losing this game at home didn't make it no better. So Tech is going to need a lot of help in order to go to the ACC championship game, and their playoff bid is probably over too with a loss like this. But hey, they got Georgia next week. Who knows what can happen if they upset them? Who knows what the playoff committee will do? But, you know, shout out to Brent Key and Georgia Tech. They've had an awesome year, and hey, I get it. I heard what he said when he was asked about, you know, coaching another team. He made a comment and said, "Cut me open and see what I bleed." But I'm still hearing rumors that he done had several conversations with the Florida Gators, so I guess we'll see how that come about. Arkansas on the road against Texas, and Texas defeated Arkansas by the score of 52-37, and it was the Arch Manning show. Not only did he throw for a touchdown, he ran for a touchdown, and he caught a touchdown pass. School record, never have been done before, at Texas. So shout out to Manning. He also had a great game passing the ball. I think he had close to like 400 yards passing, and looks like he was 18 or 30, 389 yards and 4 touchdown passes and a rushing touchdown. So he accounted for 5 touchdowns. So hey, Arch is coming along. Michigan on the road against Maryland, where they took care of business 45-20, and they are again prepared to face the Ohio Buckeyes at home, which they have dominated them in the past few years. But we'll see how it goes next week. Big game with implications. Tennessee on the road at Florida. I got to tell you, this was like a funeral. Now I get it. Florida got an interim head coach. Anything bound to happen, but Florida, it basically just put an exclamation point on their season. Next week they got Florida State rival. I mean, they probably could win that, but I don't even think they're gonna win. And it's like they done gave up, man. They've gave up. When I saw DJ Lagway stats in this game, I'm like, man, what in the world? I mean, he was 11 for 17, 116 yards, and a touchdown in a 31-11 loss. I mean, what in the world? I mean, I know he had the 5 interception game against LSU. He had a decent game against Ole Miss, but it's up, down. But this right here, man, I just got a feeling Lagway is going to end up in that transfer portal, depending on the coaching situation at Florida. But again, Tennessee defeated Florida by the score of 31-11. Illinois were on the road against Wisconsin, and I picked this game. I picked Wisconsin to win, and they won this game by the score of 27-10. So, hey, these past few weeks, Wisconsin upset a ranked Washington team. Now they upset a ranked Illinois team. So, shout out to Wisconsin. Ever since Luke Fickell signed that contract, they've been getting a few upsets. So, hey, maybe by them knowing they got a coach next year, they picking it up a little bit. But who knows? CU defeated number 23 Houston by the score of 17-14. Big win for the Horned Frogs. And Houston, that pretty much knocked y'all out of contention for the Big 12 championship game. And on the road against Temple, number 24 Tulane defeated Temple by the score of 37-13. Tulane, it's possible. It's possible Tulane might be that Group 5 team to make it to the playoffs. It is very possible. Going to be interesting to see, with the playoff committee these last couple of weeks. Arizona State on the road against Colorado, and they defeated Colorado by the score of 42-17. Shout out to Juju Lewis. He had a decent game, had a touchdown pass. Hey, he's getting better and better every week. He got this whole offseason. I look forward to Juju next year having a big year at Colorado. Hopefully, they'll get in some good people around him to make that team better. Now, let's talk about Auburn, like I was saying, Auburn, some of these teams, y'all know normally I love just talking about the top 25, and it's a couple of teams outside the top 25 that had games yesterday I wanted to talk about. Now, as I said, Auburn played against Mercer. Auburn won the game 62-17, but I want to talk about this kid, Deuce Knight. I don't know why on earth, Hugh Freeze a while back was looked at as somebody like a quarterback whisperer or something. If you think about, his history, just like Gus Malzahn, because he was on the Gus Malzahn. They always have a quarterback in their offense, the style of offense they got that can hurt you. How on earth did Hugh Freeze not see that this kid right here was it? Now, I get it. It's just one game. It's against Mercer, but this coming out party is coming out at the right time. Now, Auburn, they need one win to go to the bowl game, and they play against Alabama. Now, listen to this Deuce Knight kid. He was 15-20, 239 yards, 2 touchdowns, 9 carries, 162 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns. He accounted for 6 touchdowns. Alabama got something to deal with next week. Now, am I picking Alabama to lose this game? No, I think Alabama going to win this game, but they're going to have their hands full. Would I be shocked if Auburn beat them? No, I wouldn't. It's a rivalry game, and we all know the Auburn-Alabama Iron Bowl game always has surprises every single year. It doesn't matter, especially at Jordan Hare. Now, let's talk about the LSU Tigers. Speaking of the LSU Tigers, I think I got to have a little something to drink. LSU was at home against Western Kentucky senior night. I saw something real interesting. I ain't gonna say interesting. It was nice. For those who don't know, the Weeks brothers play for LSU. You got Wilt, you got Wes. Wilt, he's the senior. He graduated this year, and then you got Wes. He's a junior. Actually, I take that back. Wes is the senior. Wilt is the junior, and then you got Zach, who's a freshman. All three of them are linebackers, and all three of them was on the field at the same time Saturday night, which was awesome. LSU defense to ball. They won this game against Western Kentucky by the score of 13-10. And when you look at the stats, they was awful. Don't get me wrong, a lot of people was pushing for Michael Van Boren to get in the starting lineup. And I think it's still good because, you know, as an LSU Tiger fan, you get to see what you potentially could have next year because nobody knows this. I got a feeling I know who's gonna be LSU head coach, but just saying. Just to see what that coach can see exactly what he's working with next year, let him know what he got to do. And I don't think it's going to be Michael Van Buren. I get it. He's a freshman. He played a few games last year with Mississippi State, but I don't think right now, you know, he's there yet. It wasn't a bad game, but he was 25 for 42, 202 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Harlan Barrett had a very good game. He had 18 carries, 80 yards, had a bunch of good runs. But Michael Van Buren, he's decent, but not explosive. 13 points against Western Kentucky, just ain't going to get it. It just ain't going to get it. Next week, they're on the road against Oklahoma, and I hope they don't get exposed. That defense is always going to be good. Even though Oklahoma's not known to put up a lot of points, LSU is still going to have to score next week in Norman. Now, let's talk about the coaching situation. So, for those who don't know about Lane Kiffin, Lane has a bit of a history. A lot of people have been talking about this, but I want to talk about it myself on my show. It's my show. I can talk what I want to talk about. Anyway, Lane has a bit of a history. So everybody knows when he was at Tennessee Volunteers, he was only there a year. Why was he there a year? Because his dream job from where he came from originally, USC, was his dream job that he didn't get. Pete Carroll, who was USC's coach, left USC to go coach the Seattle Seahawks at the time. Why Lane was under contract at Tennessee? Well, Mr. Lane took opportunity in the middle of the night, literally in the middle of the night, move out of Knoxville and move to USC and got under contract with the Trojans. So he left. All right. Also, he was the coach at the Raiders. He was the head coach at the Raiders at one point. Same thing. Left the Raiders to come back to college. So another thing, he was at Alabama. Why he was at Alabama as an offensive coordinator with Nick Saban. Steve Sarkisian was an analyst. He got a head coaching job at Florida Atlantic. All right. Nick Saban fired him. Some people say just let him go or whatever, but some say fire. You can call it what you want. But before the national championship game against Clemson, he left and went to Florida Atlantic. So bringing all this up, Ned, brings us back to what's going on with Mr. Lane Kiffin now. Now, it's 3 programs who want his services. Number 1, of course, LSU. Number 2, of course, Florida. Number 3 is the team he's currently with, Ole Miss. So this has been going on probably for the past maybe like 3-4 weeks since Brian Kelly got fired. Me personally, I think he's going to choose LSU, and I'm going to get into that a little later. The reason why I think he's going to choose LSU is because when Billy Napier got fired at Florida, I think that was the spot he wanted to go to. But soon as Brian Kelly got fired, I think that's when things started to change because he didn't think that job would come open. And we're going to talk about LSU and Florida, the difference between those two anyway. Also, Ole Miss. All right, so all this stuff has been happening. So there was a meeting held between Lane Kiffin and the athletic director, Keith Carter, Friday. In that meeting, they decided that next Friday, which is the Egg Bowl, when Ole Miss play Mississippi State, that at the end of that game, on that Saturday, it's going to be an announcement on Lane Kiffin's future. Now, you got a lot of people from all sides, maybe in Florida, in LSU, even Ole Miss, to say, hey, he's going to stay. He's going to stay. Most people are saying that he's coming to LSU. You got people in Florida, of course, gonna say he's coming to Florida, but it's more people in the Florida circle that's still saying he going to LSU. LSU's offered him $90 million, 7 years. Some say 6 years, some say 7-year deal, $90 million. Lane Kiffin don't care about the money. He don't care about the money. But I will tell you what he do care about. $25 million guaranteed annually by LSU, along with the $90 million contract. What that means is every year he's going to get $25 million roster cash, including more cash that comes from the collective. So we talking probably $40 million per year in NIL money, something that Ole Miss doesn't have. Now, is it possible Florida can do that? It's possible. But the difference between LSU and Florida is the brand. Now, don't get me wrong. Florida is a popular brand. But when it comes to LSU, multiple coaches have won national championships. You look at Ed Orgeron, Les Miles. Look at Lane. If those two can win a national championship at LSU, trust me, Lane Kiffin will be a monster at LSU. We could be looking at probably the next Nick Saban. When Nick Saban took over Alabama, I want to say he was like 51, 52 years old. So Lane is 50. So we could be looking at something similar. Because if you think about it, Ole Miss, every year, Lane Kiffin builds that program through the portal. At LSU, even at Florida too, I say Florida too, but difference is at Florida, you competing with Miami, you competing with Florida State, you can even throw in South Florida, but you're competing with other teams. In Louisiana, you're not competing with anybody. Don't give me no Louisiana Tech or all them Southeast Louisiana, they don't count. In Louisiana, it's just LSU. And we all know Louisiana has a huge talent pool. I'm talking high 4 stars, 5 stars, high 3 stars. So, in other words, what I'm saying is you won't have to build the program strictly through the transfer portal. You can build a program through a further recruiting ground in Louisiana, other places. And with the money that they're giving you with NIL, you can go take away who you want. So, this is why I think Lane Kiffin is coming to LSU. There is no way, folks, no way he's turning that down. There's no way. If he turns that down to stay at Ole Miss, it is what it is. But I can tell you, people in his circle, Nick Saban, I even heard Steve Sarkisian, Kirby Smart influence him. Hey, go to LSU. Nothing against Ole Miss fans, and I know they're going to have something to say about this if they hear this. You're not going to win a national championship. You're not. Not in this day and age. In this day and age, you're not going to win a national championship. Shout out to Ole Miss. Great year. I hope you guys do go to the playoffs, but you're not going to win a national championship. Not this year. It ain't going to happen. Another reason why I believe he's coming to LSU, or you can say Florida, but I still think it's LSU. This extension for Lane Kiffin has been on the table for a long time. He hasn't signed. He's had opportunity after opportunities to shut it down. He could have signed it Friday during the meeting. What I think is this right here. If Ole Miss win the game next week, nothing the playoff committee could do. They're in. They are in. They're in. Regardless of where Lane Kiffin go, they're in. So what I think happened in that meeting, I think the athletic director knows Lane Kiffin is leaving. He just wants him to coach in that game next week. He wants him to coach in that game next week so they can go about their very way and be in the playoff. Lane Kiffin knows. I mean, it's sad to say, but Lane knows that they're not going to they're not going to win no national championship. He knows that. He knows that, which is why he ain't going to have no problem with leaving. But helping them make sure they go to the playoffs. Now, different story if they lose next week. Now, I'm telling you, if he lose next week and still leave, I ain't gonna lie to you folks. I'm gonna feel sorry for that poor team, man. That'll be bad. That'll be bad. I hope they win and he go about his very way. That's what I hope happens. But I think Lane Kiffin is going to LSU. Funny statement I heard the other day is it's really not funny, but it's funny. Ole Miss had a football game where they sold out. It was the Florida game where they sold out. Biggest game probably ever. Next week's gonna be their biggest game in program history. Tell you that now. But Florida game, 68,000, right? 68,000 people in attendance. Folks, let me tell you something. LSU is 5-4. Well, they were 5-4. at one point last week. Not this weekend, but last week. They was 5-4. 68,000 in Death Valley is on an average day. Death Valley seats 101,000. 68,000 is a normal day. A normal day. I don't even know if I can't even remember probably the last time they had 68,000 is when they lost to A&M and fans were walking out. But it just lets you know the difference. It's a big difference when it comes to resources. A big difference. And another reason I think he's going to LSU. Florida hoping. They hoping. You never know. Maybe Florida can shock the world, but I doubt it. I doubt it. I got LSU on this, folks. I got LSU on this. All right. So that pretty much concludes college football. Let's talk some NFL, folks. It's been some games today. Oh, my God. It's been some games. Let's talk about the Green Bay Packers at home against the Minnesota Vikings. Folks, as a proud member of the Purple People Eaters, I hate saying this. You know, I like J.J. McCartney, and I'm hoping he get another chance, but I don't see it coming. I really can see Minnesota going after a quarterback in the playoffs. Lord, not the playoffs, in the draft. Hopefully they make the playoffs, but I doubt it. All right, so as I said, the Green Bay Packers won this game 23-6. J.J. McCartney struggled again. Folks, 12 of 19, 87 yards, 2 interceptions. Not going to get it done. With that wide receiving core, if they don't change quarterbacks, folks, Justin Jefferson is out of here. I don't know how, but he's going to try to get out of here. You cannot have an elite wide receiver like him, even Jordan Addison, and have a passing game like that. You just can't. You can't. They're going to have to come up with a plan. Jefferson didn't even have a catch. Actually, he did have a catch. He had 4 catches for 48 yards. But those are not Justin Jefferson numbers. Not at all. But the Green Bay Packers, as I said, won this game by the score of 23-6. Defeated the Colts by the score of 23-20 in a comeback win in overtime. Well, it looks like the hero came back. Talking about Patrick Mahomes. At one point, you know, the Chiefs were down 9 in the fourth quarter. Came back to win in overtime. Daniel Jones, solid. 19 for 31, 181 yards, 2 touchdown passes. Jonathan Taylor, 16 carries, 58 yards. Not his norm. So it looks like the Chiefs came to play. Patrick Mahomes, 29 for 46, 352 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. He was sacked 4 times. Kareem Hunt, 30 carries, 104 yards, and 1 touchdown. All right. Bears, 31-28 over the Steelers. I got to tell you, man, Bears are sitting at 8-3 now, and the Steelers, I get it. You didn't have Aaron Rodgers, but, man, hey, the Ravens are coming. The Ravens are coming. Steelers better get a plan, and they better get a plan quick. Mason Rudolph ain't going to be the answer. 24 for 31, 171 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Caleb Williams, 19 for 35, 239 yards, 3 touchdowns. So the Bears are rolling. They are rolling. Right now, the class of the North, NFC North. Patriots at the Bengals. Patriots were down in this game 10-0. But as you know, the Fighting Drake Mays were able to come back. And the Patriots won this game by the score of 26-20. And the Patriots are 10-2. Bengals fall to 3-8. Don't even bring Joe Burrow back to that mess, man. Just let him sit out the rest of the year. There's no sense in bringing Joe Burrow back. Don't even do it. Drake made 22 of 35, 294 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Joe Flacco, 19 of 37, 183 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 terrible interception. Pick 6. I mean, it was a terrible interception. Ravens, as I said, they coming. Defeated the Jets by the score of 23-10. Shout out to the Jets, though, man. They been having some close games. Yep, they been having some close games. Tyrod Taylor, 17 of 28, 222 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was sacked 3 times. For those who don't know, Justin Fields was benched this week. Hopefully he get traded to another team. Y'all know how I feel about Justin Fields. He's a good kid. Lamar Jackson, 13 for 23, 153 yards. Eric Henry, 21 carries, 64 yards. Looks like that defense did most of the work for the Ravens. Seahawks, 30. Titans 24. Closer than expected. Seahawks moved to 8-3. And the Titans are NFL worst, 1-10, just like the Jets. Stats in this game. Sam Darnold continues to impress. 16 of 26, 244 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kenneth Walker III, 11 carries, 71 yards. Cam Ward, 28 for 42, 256 yards, 1 touchdown. He was sacked 4 times for 24 yards. He also ran the ball 6 times for 37 yards. Cam's getting better, man. He's getting better, but, he got a lot of improving to do. Hey, he's a rookie, just like McCartney. He's a rookie. At the Lions won this game by the score of 34-27. I got to tell you, man, I don't know what in the world is going on with Detroit. At one point, they was losing in this game. They had to battle their way back. They were down by as many as 13. Battled their way back to win this game, man. Shout out to Gibbs, man. Oh, my God. I mean, Jamar Gibbs is just a different breed. 15 carries, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'm talking about 2 long touchdowns. The longest was 69 yards. The other one was close to it. Jared Goff, 28 for 42, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Sacked 3 times. Jameis Winston, I'm going to tell y'all something. Jameis Winston has to be the most serviceable backup I have seen in a long time. I mean, this guy, I don't care who he play for. When you need Jameis Winston, the team might not win the game, but he going to give you a good stat line. Yep, he going to give you a good stat line. It ain't great, but it ain't bad. 18 for 36, 366 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, including a touchdown reception. So they almost pulled it off. Jaguars, as I said, won 27-24. Trevor Lawrence looked good in this game. Lawrence was 18 to 30, 256 yards, 3 touchdowns. However, he had 3 interceptions, and he was sacked 3 times for 19 yards. Trevor Etienne was 15 of 86, 15 for 86 yards. Jacoby Brissett, just like Jameis Winston, another serviceable backup. 33 for 49, 317 yards, 1 touchdown in the losing effort. Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns defeated, yes, it was the Vegas Raiders, but we don't care. The Browns defeated the Raiders by the score of 24-10. All right. Now, let's talk about all the positives. He looked good. He looked poised. Listen to Shedeur's stats. 11 of 20, 209 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was sacked 1 time for -3 yards. Judkins, 16 carries for 47 yards. The only thing I want to say is this right here. I might get some pushback on this. I don't care. I'm still going to say it. He had a great game. They won. That's what matters. The last person to win a debut start for Cleveland Browns as a rookie was Eric Zod. That was way back in 1990. The only thing I didn't like about this victory, I was saying to myself, Shedeur, if you get this win, stay humble, stay poised, just like you was on that field. Go to the locker room. If you got to answer any questions, let them be decent answers. Don't boast, don't brag, don't call out your haters. None of that. He did it. He said, people want to see me fail. It's not going to happen. Of course it's not going to happen. Of course there's people out there hating on you. But don't say nothing. Stay humble. Stay humble, kid. Stay humble. You don't have to speak it out. We know it's haters out there. You ain't got to remind them of nothing. Let it speak on the field. And that's all I got to say to that. All right, then. One of the NFL's rivalries, the Falcons and the Saints. Congratulations. Falcons defeated the Saints by the score of 24-10 to improve to 4-7 on the year. Congratulations. The Falcons defeated their hated rivals. The Saints moved to 2-9, as I said, the Falcons go to 4-7. Kirk Cousins was 16 of 23, 199 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked 3 times. Bijan Robinson, 14 carries, 70 yards. But what I want to talk about is the Falcons' defense. James Pierce had a sack and a half. Jalen Walker, he had a sack. A total of 5 sacks. So the Falcons' defense, they were legit. I mean, not like they were playing anybody, but I just want to point out the rookies. I mean, maybe those draft picks was worth it, but the problem has been offense. And the defensive front is straight. I mean, it's been secondary here and there and not enough offense. But congratulations, Falcons, on the 24-10 victory over your hated rivals. Boys at home against the Eagles. Folks, the Eagles started off this game up 21-0, and Lord, the Cowboys came back and won this game by the score of 24-21. And when I tell you, when they kicked that game-winning field goal, the look on Jerry Jones' face, I thought to myself he was going to get up at the end of that game and say what every Cowboy fan loved to say. We going to the Super Bowl. Just kidding. We know that ain't going to happen. But the Cowboys were able to come back and defeat the Eagles by the score of 24-21. Man, let's talk about it. All right. Jalen Hurts, 27 of 39, 289 yards, one touchdown, back one time for 13 yards. Hurts also 7 carries, 33 yards. Barkley got shut down, 10 carries, 22 yards. They defense was up for it. Dak Prescott, 23 for 36, 354 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Hey, North Carolina's own Javonte Williams, 20 carries, 87 yards. Looked like the boys came to play, and they picked up a big upset win. So shout out to the Cowboys. Currently right now, the Rams are hosting the Buccaneers, and the Rams are putting it on them. Folks, it's the second quarter with 1 minute left to halftime. The Rams are up 31-7 over the Buccaneers. Now, I'm just going to say this right here. Rams going to win this game, but I ain't counting Baker Mayfield out for nothing. We know what that guy can do. They ain't going to win the game, but I can guarantee you the Bucs ain't going to stick with those 7 points. Right now, Baker Mayfield, 8 for 16, 37 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Terrible game at the moment. Matthew Stafford, 19 of 23, 210 yards, 3 touchdowns. Puka Nacua, 5 receptions, 80 yards. Devontae Adams, 4 catches, 52 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So Stafford and company are rolling. They are rolling. All right. We're going to talk about basketball from Saturday till today. I got to tell you, man, what a weekend. It has been a weekend. I always start out with women. We're going to start out with the men's this time. Let's do Saturday night. Top 25 this weekend. It really wasn't much going. Actually, let's do Friday. BYU, number 9 BYU defeated Wisconsin 98-70. Louisville defeated Cincinnati 74-64. Michigan defeated Detroit Mercy 84-56. Duke, the Duke Boozers, what I call them, 100-42 over Niagara. Florida defeated Merrimack 80-45. Lord, I'm so ready for these conference games to start. Because some of these teams they playing, man, I don't know who they are and where they came from. All right, Kentucky defeated Loyola Maryland 88-46. Arkansas defeated Jackson State 115-61. Purdue upset Texas Tech 86-56. And UCLA defeated Presbyterian 86-46. That was Friday's game for the men's. Saturday, you just had one game as far as top 25. Illinois defeated Long Island 98-58. And today, you had Duke. They defeated Howard by the score of 93-56. And UConn defeated Bryant by the score of 72-49. Anybody's interested in the rankings for men's college basketball, we'll call out the top 10. Purdue, Houston, Connecticut, Arizona, Duke at 5. Louisville 6, Michigan 7, Illinois 8, BYU 9, and Florida at 10. All right, let's talk about the women's. We'll start Friday for the women as well. Number 17, Vanderbilt 92, Alabama State 38. Notre Dame, Hannah Hidalgo, boy, that girl is a beast. She hit the game-winning shot in this game. Notre Dame 61, USC 59. UConn 72 over number 6. Michigan 72. It was 72-69 in favor of UConn. Saturday slate, Kentucky 72, Louisville 62, Baylor 74, Davidson 72, Iowa 64, and Miami 61. That was Saturday's women's game. Now, today, Michigan 85-55 over Syracuse, Vanderbilt 99, Tennessee State 43, South Carolina 121-49. Tell you, boy, Dawn Staley, she just don't stop. Iowa State 112, Mercyhurst 62, number 15 Tennessee 88, Appalachian State 35, Rhode Island upset NC State 68-63. Number 6, they was number 16, and Rhode Island upset them. Michigan State 102-41 over Oakland, and UConn 93-41 over Utah, and Maryland 84, George Mason 62, UCLA 88, Southern 37, TCU 93, UT Rio Grande 57. UT Rio Grande, okay. Washington 71, Vermont 39, North Carolina 94, and UNC Greensboro 48. My son actually covered this North Carolina UNC Greensboro game tonight. My son is just covering all sports at the moment, doing his rehab process. For those who don't know, he's interning for 247 Sports at CBS. So tonight he was covering the women's game against North Carolina women against UNC Greensboro. So I'm interested to hear what my son learned tonight. It comes to the game. All right. Let's talk about some NBA. We're going to start off Friday night with them as well. Friday night scores in the NBA. Cavaliers 120, Pacers 109. Nets 113, Celtics 105. Raptors 140, the Wizards 110. The Heat 143, the Bulls 107. The Mavericks 118, the Pelicans 115. The Suns 114, the Timberwolves 113. The Nuggets 112, the Rockets 109, the Thunder 144, the 112. It ain't gonna stop with the Thunder. It is just not gonna stop. For those who don't know, they doing the in-season tournament right now as well. Trailblazers 127, the Warriors 123. Saturday scores: Clippers 131, Hornets 116, Magic 133, Knicks 121, the Hawks 115, and the Pelicans 98. Bulls 121, Wizards 120, Pistons 129, Bucks 116, and the Grizzlies 102, and the Mavericks 96. Folks, Klay Thompson and Ja Morant were about to go at it. I don't know what's going on with Ja Morant. Yep, but I was looking at that scuffle, man. Well, it really wasn't a scuffle. They broke it up, but it was almost a scuffle. No room for that. Kings 128, Nuggets 123. Sunday's game, Suns 80 and the Spurs 76. Currently in the third quarter with 2 minutes and 8 seconds left. The Lakers are tied with the Jazz in the third quarter with 38 seconds left. Heat 127, 76ers set 117. The Hawks again defeated the Hornets 113 to 110. The Celtics defeated the Magic 138 to 129. The Cavaliers defeated the Clippers 120 to 105. The Raptors defeated the Nets 119 to 109. The Thunder again 22 to 95. That is Sunday's games. All right, let's talk about some of these standings. Nothing's changed over the weekend. Detroit still number one in the Eastern Conference at 14-2. Like I said, those Hawks 11-7. Hey, can't beat that. 4 games over 500. I'll take that every time. As far as the Western Conference, OKC 17-1. Denver 12-4. The Lakers 11-4. San Antonio 11-4. Houston 10-4. Phoenix 10-6. So hey, I like that top 6. A little old school though. Denver, Lakers, San Antonio, Houston. Hey, I like that. But OKC is representing new school. They ain't having it. And as far as stats, Doncic 34.6 points a game leading the NBA. Jokic leading the assists 10.8. Stephon Curry in threes, 4.8 a game. Jokic in rebounds, 13 a game. Wembanyama still 3.6 blocks a game, and he's injured. And, of course, in steals is still Cason Wallace for the Thunder. Oh, man, what a weekend, folks. What a weekend it has been. Duke defeated North Carolina by a score of 32-25. I got to give it to you, though. North Carolina had a good game. They had a good game. For a good portion of this game, they was winning. But Duke just overcame everything and were able to win this game. Shout out to Duke quarterback, man. That kid is good. I see why Duke paid him all that money. He is good. He was 20 for 33, 175 yards, and just 1 touchdown. But the way he moved around in that pocket. Nate Shepard had 22 carries for 90 yards. As far as North Carolina, Joe Lopez was 21 of 27, 204 yards and a touchdown. North Carolina ran for 101 yards total, but it just wasn't enough. The thing I want to talk about, though, is Bill Belichick, man. He is just different, man. He is just different. Like, the faces he makes, don't get me wrong. Nobody loves to lose. Nobody, especially head coaches. They don't like to lose, but you got sore losers out there. That's all I'm going to say. Like, Bill, in some of the game, like when he loses a game, has anybody ever paid attention when he does the handshake at the end of the game, how he looks and how it's almost like that handshake is like less than a tenth of a second? I mean, I saw the Wake Forest game where you can tell the coach for Wake Forest, he took his hat off running up there. I mean, let's face it, Bill Belichick is a legend. Guy took his hat off, like he was looking like he was excited. And as soon as he ran up, it's like Bill, like, just get out of my way. I mean, he shook his hand, but it was like a quick, just get out the way. I mean, Bill is not having it, man. Hey, welcome to college football, Bill. Welcome to college football, because it ain't going to get any better, buddy. You got to learn how to recruit. You got to learn how to recruit 24/7, not just players who ain't on the team, players who own the team year after year. So it gets tougher. And teams, I hate to say it, we talked about it earlier, but teams like LSU finna set the bar, and it's going to be more to come. With that $25 million a year in roster cash, you're going to see more teams start doing that. And before long, in my opinion, group of 5 teams are going to have their own playoffs, because if they're doing it this way, they finna start stealing players from group of 5 teams like crazy. So if you're a group of 5 team, whoever your best player is, don't count on him being there more than a year, because they finna start snatching them. This is only the beginning. But guys, it's been an awesome show. Hey, you know what? I ain't even gonna lie. Probably one of my best shows. Yeah, one of my best shows. I'm glad I'm feeling a whole lot better. But God dog, I've been battling this cold sinuses probably for the past month. I got a little cough here and there, but it's a whole lot better. A whole lot better. Shout out to all the high school football teams in the state of Georgia who won Friday. Man, we got some big ones this weekend. Oh my goodness. Ooh, I hope I make it to the one Friday. But we'll get into that later on this week on my Thursday show. We'll talk a little bit about that. But it has been fun, guys. I hope y'all ate well today. And I know y'all gonna eat well on Thursday. I know. Because, I think my wife probably tomorrow. I wanted to do it today, but I think tomorrow we're going to take the turkey out, start the thawing process and, get the brine, and just that word brine. It is on. Shout out to my dad, my mom. Hey, we hosting. We got some folks coming over here. We about to eat good. We about to eat really good. What's y'all favorite Thanksgiving food? What is y'all favorite? I know mine. I'm going to have to go with the greens. The greens and the dressing. Turkey good too, but the greens and the dressing, not a custard fan. I like cakes and pies though. But what are we doing here? Hey, there's nothing wrong with the show having a little humor to it. But guys, it has been awesome. It has been awesome. And I look forward to talking to you guys again Thursday and Sunday. So you guys have a wonderful holiday week. I hope you guys work smarter and not harder. And I have enjoyed you guys on this gorgeous Sunday evening. Have a wonderful work week. I will talk to you guys soon. And thank you for tuning in to the Brutus J podcast.